Hi, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of any future videos, hit that cute little bell. I want to say thank you to all my subscribers and welcome to all my new subscribers. You've helped my channel grow and I really appreciate it. Now I hope you'll join me while I put my Christmas cookie cutters to good use. Keeping in the holiday spirit, I decided to make gift tags. I thought it was a fun, timely project in the last weeks before Christmas. So I was possibly influenced by my friend that just gave me a Christmas cookie last week. But maybe that was just stewing around in the back of my brain. But I thought, what a wonderful way to make a gift tag, because cookie cutters are such simple shapes. And everybody's got some cookie cutters. So I just went in my cookie cutter basket. I've got a few of them and just got out some of them. You can see this one's seen better days. But I love that cookie cutter. And I just pulled out the simple shapes that I could, all the ones with this really simple shapes that I could find. There's a little snowman. And I used this one too. And this one is a snow globe, and that's going to be a future video. Hopefully very future. So I'll show you what I did with these. And if you're interested in joining me for that video, I will have a link for where you can get one like this. They have them on Amazon. I bought mine at our local cake decorating supply store, which we're lucky to have, a local cake decorating supply store. Anyway, so we'll go back to that one. But right now, this one was a little tricky to use because I could not trace on the inside of it, which was my preferred method. I think that's easier than tracing around the outside. And then in the end, I preferred it flipped this way. So I traced around the outside this way, and I got fat candy canes, but that's okay. So you could use non-Christmas ones and make them Christmassy, a little kitty cat. I have a nice polar bear. This kind is a little trickier. I'm sorry, everything's wet because my water splashed on it. This one's a little trickier because it's got this big rubber thing. So it'd be harder to do the inside again. You'd have to do the outside. Also, I would not do this one because it's so complicated. Like I pulled this one out in the beginning and then I looked at it and thought, no, because I was going to have to cut this out and it's just too time consuming. So I did not do this snowflake, but you are welcome to do a snowflake if that's what you have. So anyway, these are basically the ones I used. And I tried a few different methods. Originally, I was trying to make them look like the actual cookies. So I did these little guys, and they're cute, but they're a lot more work too. They're, again, more time consuming, and I was trying to come up with something that was simpler. So because these have shadows on both the cookie and shadows on the frosting and frosting details, and I found the more details almost were too much. So this worked better with a simpler kind of cookie than trying to get too tricky. So anyway, those ones I'm going to set aside. And then I tried this. I went around and traced my cookie cutters, I should say. And I did a wet on wet technique where I dropped water, painted with clear water in the shape of the cookie. And then I dropped color in. And then I let the let the gift tags dry. And then I doodled on top with some sparkly stuff. And I don't know if you can see there, it's a little shiny. And just kind of did some like spattering and gold spattering and glitter and white snowy stuff, and I had fun with that, and that was kind of fun. That was kind of cool. So I did those, and then I decided to do something a little more graphic, and I did these. And these were lots of fun too. There's my fat candy cane. And those I kept maybe a little more simple, I don't know, in some ways. A lot of spatter, a lot of shiny golden glittery stuff. And that worked nicely too. And my daughter came up to me and saw the other ones I had done and said, "Oh, how did you do those? Did you just like do a whole page of color and then go around with the cookie cutters and find the part you liked and that kind of thing?" And I thought, well, no, I didn't do it that way, but what a good idea. I've done alcohol ink stuff that way because when I've made jewelry, I've done a big page of ink and then gone around with my circles and picked out the part that I thought looked really cool. So this is neat because you could match some paper that you have or gift bags and make a bunch. So that's how these came about. And these, again, are much simpler. Not a lot of detail. Well, some of them have a little bit of detail. This one, there seemed to be a rose shape in the middle of it, so I went ahead and made a little rose. But anyway, so this was kind of fun, and this was probably the easiest way to do it. So what I'm going to demonstrate today is I'm going to start with the fill in the wash the water, paint the shape with water and drop color in. I'm going to do one of those, and then next to it I'm going to do one of the solid color shapes with a solid wash and do that kind. And then while those are drying before I can doodle on them, we're going to do a big page of wash so that we can do one of these, a whole page, and I'll show you how I did that. So anyway, let's get started, and I will tell you some other things as we get going. This paper I used for a lot of them. I did not use my really good paper because frankly they're gift tags and I didn't think that was that important, but it is 140 pound because you want to have it heavy enough. Now this I got on Amazon. It says it's 100% cotton. It's a 140 pound block. I'm not, it's not arches, let's just say that, or arches, or arch, I don't know. Anyway, it's not that, but it's okay. I mean, it works for this, it works fine. I kind of prefer the back side of the paper because it doesn't have this pattern on it, but again, for these purposes, this works absolutely fine. Today, when I do the first two, I'm going to do them on bee paper, which I also, you can get this at Blix and Amazon, and I'm sure other places. But this is 100% cotton, 140 pound, and I really like these little papers. These work pretty nicely. So I normally, like I said, I wouldn't use even this nice a paper, but for my purposes today, it's a good size. So I'm going to do the two on this and then do a page of the other ones. There was something else I wanted. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. When I got all done with them, I gave them a coat of this. It's a clear gloss protective finish. And this was really nice. It gives them some substance because they have a coating on the top of the paper, and it gives them some sheen, and I thought that was a nice touch. So anyway, let me paint some up here, and then we'll talk about the details of actually making them. For this, I'm going to use my mitten, and I'll do one of the mitten ones, and my funky tree that I really like. Now, I have a really nice mechanical pencil, and when you're getting in nooks and crannies, it helps to have it a chunk out so that you can get into the nooks and crannies more easily. Now, this one, I don't really need to have it out that far, but since it is, I'm going to do these a little darker than what I did for my purposes, so that you guys can see them. But, you know, why not take advantage of these cool Christmas shapes we already have probably hanging around our house? And if you don't, I think they're pretty easy to come by. You should be able to get a set, even possibly at a dollar store. I know they have them on Amazon. See now. Can't see what I'm doing. I think I broke my lead. Here we go. Do I have it all? Yeah, pretty much. And it really doesn't matter a whole lot because nobody's going to compare it to your cookie cutter and go, oh, you missed a spot. That was skinnier there, etc. So no worries. And painting in the lines with the water too, no worries, because nobody's going to be able to tell. Okay, I'm going to start with these two. And the first one, I'm going to wet the space inside the cookie cutter shape. Doesn't matter if I stay in the lines because we're going to cut it out anyway, but I do want to see the lines. I've changed things up a little bit and put my little thing in the corner of the mitten this time. Now I'm going to use 3 different colors. I'm going to use Quin Rose, which I have added some water to get it to a nice consistency. I might add a little bit more. And I'm going to use Teal because I like that. And then I'm going to use a little purple and see if we get a nice mix from just those 3 colors. I don't want to go too crazy. Keep in mind that you want it to be pretty concentrated, because it's easier to see if you're going to doodle on it at all. It's easier to see it if the background is darker. If it's too light of a background, sometimes it's hard to see what's going on. And when you put white pen or over top of it. Now they're going to mingle a little bit and mix and make their own purple. And I'm just going to add a little, that one. Kind of just sat there for a second. I don't know if the paper dried a little bit. Okay, so it's a little wet. I'm going to take a tissue and just suck up some of the extra moisture around the edges. So I want it dark on the dark side, but I don't want it muddy. Let's just get a little bit of that. Okay, now we're going to let that dry. And we're going to move on to this one. Now we want a nice smooth wash, and hopefully having drawn that in a little bit darker, I don't have to stay within the lines. So I'm just going to put down some clean water, not as clean as I had thought it was going to be. It's a little purpley, but and then I'm going to use this, what is it, phthalo blue, I think. Try and get a nice even wash. Now again, I want a lot of pigment because I want my bright silver, gold, whatever I use on it, to pop. And it will pop better if it's a darker wash. Now I can see my tree outline. I don't know if you can, but it will be fine. And it's watercolor. It's going to dry lighter. That's just what it does. Let me see if I can tell you what color I'm using. It's phthalo blue, if that's what I said before. I think it's what I said before. Now I'm going to let this dry, and I will possibly take a hairdryer to it, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and they're dry. And now we're going to do some fun sparkly bits on them. I'm going to start with my mitten, and I'm going to do some curlicues at the bottom. I don't do a lot on them because I think they're kind of cool just with the colors that I ended up using. It just makes it kind of a fun. So that's kind of fun. And then this one, let's take some gold. That looks kind of cool. We'll just do some little stars. Now, this is the time to do some spattering if we want. You could do it before you doodle or after you doodle. Obviously, we're doing it after. I need my little paintbrush, where that one went. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to mix up some gold. Just get a nice consistency. Now, the bigger the brush, the bigger the spots if you're spattering. So I don't really want big spots, so I'm going to get a littler brush. The wetter it is too, the bigger spots you'll get. And I'm trying to keep it on this side of the page. There. That's kind of pretty. Okay, and then on this little guy, why don't we do some snowflakes? So we'll use our technique we used in the last video. I'm going to just get some white gouache and a nice consistency. Paint it on my sieve. And do some blowing. That's kind of fun. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. Keep it really, really simple. So these are all dry now with a nice coat of the glossy fixatives on it. And I'm going to cut them out. So first I'm going to cut them apart. And try and I will speed this up once I stop talking. It's important to use good scissors. I like my little Fiskars. I find these work really nicely. All my years of cutting out paper dolls. These are my scissors of choice. My recommendation to you is long cutting, long, not choppy. You want to keep it smooth, and don't try and do in one cut what really needs to be done in more than one cut, like right here. Come at it from the other angle. Don't try and just force your way around that circle, because if you try and do that, it's gonna not have a nice, clean, secure edge. You're gonna kind of mangle it in the corner. So just turn your paper and turn around and come at it from the other side. So I'm going to come in there like that, and there we go. It's okay if there's a little white, that's not a big deal. I'm going to do this one really quick too, and we'll speed her up. It also helps if you turn the paper sometimes, not make the scissors come at a different angle. If you, instead of going like this to turn the paper. I'm going to punch the holes at the top. Gently. And now I take my giant ball of string and cut a couple pieces. I've made quite a mess on my desk today. And there's a couple more. So the next one, I'm going to use the cheaper paper because why not? And we're going to do a whole page. So I'm going to start out using my big giant number 8 Quill Neptune, Princeton Neptune brush, and just get the paper nice and wet. You could spray it also. That would work. Okay, now I think the 3 colors I'm going to use for this are Quin Coral and Cobalt Blue and Rose of Ultramarine, which is one of my favorite Daniel Smith colors. So I'm going to start by just getting some nice pigment down of the Quin Coral. Such a nice, bright pink color. Pinky, reddish. I got a little gold on my brush there. No big deal. Okay, let's get some Quin, Rose of Ultramarine. Can't really do this wrong because you're just making a page color. I'll get some cobalt on there. Sorry. I don't want my brush sopping. Which with a quill brush, you can get that. Picked these colors because when they blend, they don't make mud. They make purples. So let's get some more cobalt on our brush. And we're gonna, yeah, we are. Come on, a little more water. Drop some splatters. Right now the paper is really wet, so the splatters that I do with the paper really wet are all going to kind of morph and push the paint around. They aren't going to stay in like real dots. Distinctive, I should say, dots. Now you don't have to worry about coloring the whole page. You can leave some of the white spots. I didn't do that a lot on this one. did it on my other. Yeah, we have a fuzzle. I will wait till it dries. I will wait till it dries. I have to tell myself. You could do all sorts of fun things. You could put saran wrap down and crinkle it around and let it dry and pull it off. You could put some salt down and get the salt moving and get that effect. Basically, any watercolor technique you could use to make this, because you're just making the paper. And it's kind of fun. Remember, it's going to dry lighter than what you are seeing. So I'm going to pause you and hit it with a hairdryer. So, you know what happens when you use a blow dryer and you have a desk full of gift tags? Anyway, so this is pretty dry right now, and we're going to do some more fun things to it. Like, first I'm going to get that fuzzle off there. All right, then I think we need to do some of our snow making. Because why not? Very messy, but fun. Okay, so we have a nice white on there. Now something shiny would be fun. So I think we'll stick with our silver and use this sterling. I want to get lots of pigment. These are bigger, wetter drops. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and let this dry. Okay, I had to take my paper off the block because it was curling when I dried it, and it wouldn't lay flat. It's still not great, but it'll be fine in the end. So I'm going to get some of my cookie cutters, and I'm going to place them on here. Now, remember that they all need a ball at the top. So you want to keep that in mind when you're putting them on here. See if there's something that particularly sticks out, like there's a cute little spot there that kind of looks like a little heart. So I'm going to put the snowman there. I also have this cute little penguin. I might use him too, just for a change of pace. Find a spot that I think he looks good. I have the sled I could use. It's very much like making cookies when you're trying to plan where you're going to put your cookie cutters to fit the maximum amount of cookie cutters on your cookie sheet or on your dough, because you don't want to roll it more than once. So, or twice, or, you want to roll it as few times as possible. So you're maximizing your space. So you can kind of do that here too. And I've got a spot there. Does he have stuff on his head? I'm going to pull him down a little bit to have some blue up there so it's not a big white circle at the end. Okay. Now I am going to use my favorite pencil, Blackwing Pearl, because I think I can get a darker line. I think you'll be able to see it better. And I'm going to draw these in. None of these are too they don't have too many little pieces. I say that as I come to the snowman that has this little spot, which I got in there. I did have a little bit of a bobble right there. Not a big deal. The thing about this way is when you're all said and done, you're going to have a whole sheet of gift tags in one fell swoop. Now, I could have squeezed more on probably. Could probably get one more if I placed it for maximum usage. But mine was more interested in placing them where if there was something going on the sheet of paper that I wanted to have in a specific spot. That's more what I was doing. This one is a little tricky. Trying to get in here, and I'm not sure if I did or not. Yeah, not too bad. It goes like that. Okay, I hope you can see that. Okay, now I'm going to put the circles on the tops. Okay, they all have their little circles. Now you can get tricky with them. You can do some more doodling on these. Like this one, I went around the outside of the star with some dots. This, I did another with the little squirrely things. This tree has little sparkly bits. I didn't do a lot on them because they have a lot going on already. But I'm going to do one in here. Just I don't know if you can see this or not. When I hold it up, hopefully you'll be able to see it. It's just adding a little bit of sparkle. I could go over it in white. Or gold, or the solid silver, instead of this glitter pen. But I don't know if you can see the little curly cues all the way around. So you do something like that. Let me see how it, maybe I'll put a little dot where each of them are. I think you get the idea though. Just embellishing a little bit. Oh, it was on a dot. There we go. Okay. So for this sheet, I would do all my little details and then I would spray the whole sheet and then cut them out because that would be easier than to manage than all these little bitty pieces. But I'm not going to do that right now.
In my next video, I'm going to use a
snow globe cookie cutter and paint little snow scenes, and this is going to be really fun too. A little more detailed, a little more painting like a real scene, not just splashing some color around. So I didn't think we would have time in this video, so I wanted to dedicate a whole video to just these kind of thing. So hopefully you'll be interested and come watch that one. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Please check out my Etsy shop, where I'll have these gift tags for sale, along with my cute little monsters and a bunch of other stuff. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks again for watching.